All right, I'm at the end of this agenda already. Looky. Last item on the list, and this to me was like the least offensive of all the, presentations here in the agenda. But I still did have some feedback to supplement. I mean, what I'm saying is that these people actually seem like they're, you know, in a position to address the problems and provide the solutions. So it was on the 13th of March at 11:30, the Hilton Austin Downtown Salon B. And the subject was old age tech for new age disasters. Across Hawaii and beyond, mass environmental destruction and toxic contamination threaten the well-being of our human and more than human communities. I don't know who comes up with this verbiage. I really don't. Anyhow, but it says our grassroots and women-led organization formed to offer place-based and innovative bioremediation solutions rooted in native Hawaiian protocols that involves working with plants and fungi and microbes to heal the lands and the waters affected by forever chemicals, heavy metals, petroleum, hydrocarbons, and more. Okay. That to me was like really good. I agree with these age-old technologies to deal with these things, but I would also just have to say that well, first of all, I don't care if it's women-led, okay? Because I don't care who leads it. If it's a woman or a man, I don't care. I just want the person who's the best qualified for the job to do it, okay? But it talks about these solutions for the mass environmental destruction and toxic contamination. Okay, Hawaii, I got something for you. Did you see what the place looked like before they turned it into a massive tourist operation there? I mean, they poured concrete over everything and put in high-rises everywhere, and they're bringing in millions of tourists every year that are flushing the toilets and taking showers and running the sinks and brushing their teeth. If you want to talk about environmental destruction and toxic contamination, I would first eliminate the thing that is doing that, and that would be to scale down your what you call high volume tourism, and you could take these people who are on the streets and if they're homeless, right, and give them a place to stay in there, and then that would fill up your rooms, and maybe just charge them a little bit of rent. I don't know, but there's just high rise after high rise after high rise, and each building has hundreds of condos in it, and most of them just sit empty. They're just what they call rental condos, and they just sit empty waiting for the tourists to come, and the tourists aren't coming anymore. So, but my point being is that we should think about, in these places where we're developing tourism, what, the number of times that the people are flushing the toilets and taking showers. And when you're bringing millions of people in there, you got to think about these things before you do them. And then, of course, have your bioremediation practices in place to deal with it. But I would that address first, the number of the tourists is coming in, right? And then I would say, and look, and don't bring any toxic stuff with you. Like, please, we're trying to preserve the environment. It's beautiful, it's lovely, the water's clean, blah blah blah. This is what the people come here to see. This is what the people come here for, to be in nature and be so beautiful, and everything is nice, right? And so we want to leave it that way, because not because we're tyrants that want to say you have to buy this, whatever, you can't take the sunscreen, blah blah blah. What? No, because we personally take responsibility, each and every one of us, for the state of the water that it's in after we touch it. And so, yes, that takes some infrastructure on the ground, that takes some biodigesters. It also takes the role of the individual who's bringing in things that aren't going to contribute to the gray water and the black water issues. So Yeah, I'm all about that for sure. But you know, once the damage has been done, you know, and I like how they talk about removing the forever chemicals too. Um, or they had mentioned, you know, how these bioremediation basically. But again, I go back to hemp. So instead of growing pineapples for every country in the world, just about, take out those monocropped farms of pineapples that take forever to grow, but even though they're genetically modified, they still take months to reach a point where you can pick them and harvest them. Years, maybe, actually, years. It's years. But canyamo can grow there, and it can, from seed to harvest, is 6 months. So if you took these fields of pineapples and turned them into fields of canyamo, well then any buildings that you're making, anything, any infrastructure that you're putting together on, in this case, Hawaii, um, it's going to be made locally, and it's not going to be toxic, as you say here. It's not going to cause any problem for the environment. So eliminate the threat of the environment and then focus on the bioremediation. I mean, do the bioremediation for sure all the time, but we have to consider that if we didn't create the mess, we wouldn't have to clean it. That's always a stitch in time is better than nine. So that's just some thoughts that I would have left with that last briefing that I had planned to attend. And in general, just a summary for the what they call the South by Southwest was absolutely 110% covert, infiltrated, you know, bunch of incredibly stupid, self-centered individuals that are repeating what they're told to repeat and presenting themselves in positions of some sort of authority. How long is this video? It's 7 minutes. I have one more thing to say about this event, and not so much the event, but it was Austin in general, as I was walking around and seeing stuff, to further illustrate my claims that this was a covert, highly infiltrated, dictated narrative, communist agenda event. And I'm going to cover that in my last video. Stay tuned.